This is a little self-driving robot I recently built. So, oops. Basically, there's 3 systems that interact with each other. So one is on the back here, which is basically just controlling the robot arm, just making sure that that ultrasonic sensor is pointed in the right direction. So if you wanted to, like, you know, turn it or move it, you could do it back here. You can, I think, turn it side to side and that type of stuff. It's a little slow. It also has the warning, just in case this gets loose, that it is not a killer robot. More interestingly though, there's this little Arduino microcontroller on this side that drives the wheels and then also controls these ultrasonic sensors. There's one in the front and then one on each side, one here as well. Basically what those do is they send out these ultrasonic waves, which is a sound wave that humans cannot hear. It's at a really high frequency, and then it sees how long it takes those waves to bounce back, and then it calculates distance based on how long it takes them to reflect back. So then you can program logic around that. So for instance, if something's 100 centimeters away, I'll tell it to just keep driving forward. But once something gets to like 20 centimeters away, it will stop, and it will ping the left and the right side, and it will see if there's obstacles on either side. And depending on that, it will decide to turn either left or right. And if there's something on each side, let's say it went into like a box, it would just back up and then spin around and go the other way so it doesn't get trapped. One of the challenges though was that since this sensor up here is so high up, it would run into stuff and get the wheels caught on things on the ground. So I bought some little infrared sensors here. You can see them going off. These use light instead of sound waves. Humans, obviously, you can't see the light waves that these are sending out either. It's kind of similar to what your remote on your TV might use. And then the idea is that these would, if this fails, if the ultrasonic sensor fails to detect an object, these should kick off and prevent the thing from colliding. The reason they all go off at once is because they're all connected to the same channel in this little breadboard here. And the only other thing is this is a little fire sensor. And this basically, it also uses infrared light and just looks at the frequency that fire's at. And then it detects it. If there's a fire there, it will do a series of commands that I programmed. So first, it'll turn this little LED up here, blue, that it's currently blue, it'll turn that red. I put a little buzzer down there, it'll set off the buzzer. And then there's a little motor back here with the gears. It'll hopefully launch this dog treat backwards. And that's all controlled by this little Arduino motor shield on this side. So you can kind of see how it works. So for instance, if it ran into this, it would stop. Then see, George heard treat and he's over here already. So I'll show you how it works if it detects fire. So I'll move the camera so you can see. So if I put fire in front of it, boom. So you can probably hear the buzzer. LED goes red. And then it launches. So here's the treat. Didn't make it too far. There you go, George. So if I reload it, this is like, you know, the little gears here. I just push that back in there. Oops. And then I put the fire in front of it. I'll just show you. Ooh, it really moves. Pretty cool. I'll show how it looks when it drives around next. The robot arm is a little low on battery, so you might notice that when it turns, it kind of droops down or doesn't get fully upright. So you can tell what type of object the robot's detecting based on what it does in response to it. So if the lights turn green in the front and then it drives backwards pretty far and then turns around completely, that means it was an infrared detection. And if it's just kind of working its way around the room like this, that's a ultrasonic trigger. Oh, see how the robot arm's starting to malfunction a little bit? Here, I'll show you. So I'll put the candle in its way. Boom. Turns red, buzzer goes off, launches the dog treat. Next step would be, George running into the rescue, but it's not quite safe for him yet. That's about it. Now it's kind of stuck on this thing. See, you can tell it doesn't like the flame. Nope. Starting to get low on batteries, but that's about it. Oh. See, right now it's not actually detecting. It's not detecting the flame. It just sees an object in front of it. You can tell when it detects the flame because it starts revving the motor and that turns red. Kind of cool. It actually gets around pretty well for the most part. That's about it.